Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Glenda Sully's channel. It's so good to have you back in the comments today. I've just had a blast reading everybody's comments from yesterday's video, so feel free to, don't be shy and go ahead and leave your comment today. So today I'm going to tell you a story about, oh gosh, oh, it was so long ago. I was probably, Jeremy had not even been born yet, so I was probably maybe 24, about 24 years old, and we were living in Covington. I'm trying to think, I don't know what year it was. Maybe Jeremy was born. I just can't remember, but that's irrelevant. Anyway, I had gotten a little part-time job at a store there in Covington, and this was before Walmart started expanding everywhere. This store was part of the Woolworth company, and they had started having building these kind of like a super center type store, but they didn't have grocery stores, the groceries parts in them. Anyway, they changed it from Woolworth to Woolco. But whenever I was first hired, before I was hired to be a cashier, I worked in the jewelry department. And one of my co-workers there, her name was Virginia. And she was divorced, and she was young. She was older than me. I would say she was early 30s. So, you know, we would work our little shifts and everything, and we only had one cash register, so it was very difficult if both of us had a customer at one time and needing to ring someone out. I remember I got chewed out at Christmas time. It was Christmas Eve, and there was a long line, and we were doing everything that we could to wait on the customers. And, you know, you can only take one piece of jewelry out of the display case at a time to prevent anyone from grabbing a handful of jewelry and running off with it. So we were showing the jewelry, and I was showing the necklace and the rings and earrings, and so this man made up his mind what he wanted to purchase. Well, I couldn't get to the register because she was using the register to ring out somebody else. So he just threw his hands up in the air and started yelling at me and said, "I don't have time to wait. What's wrong with you? Why can't you ring up my purchase?" I said, "Well, I can't because she's on the register, and we only have the one register. You know, what am I supposed to do? Take it up with management? Don't scream and yell at me. I'm the messenger." Do you ever feel that whenever somebody yells at you and you had nothing to do with it, and then you get put in the middle of it, and you have to say, "I'm just the messenger"? But anyway, Virginia, she was divorced, and she would always brag about her boyfriends and everything. So I think back then there were only maybe 2 gynecologists groups, you know, practicing in Covington, that area. So the group that I went to, there were 2. Dr. Schlotman was his name, and I don't remember the other one's name, but Dr. Schlotman was my basic doctor. Yeah, it had to have been after Jeremy was born because he had delivered Jeremy. Yeah. And so I was going to him, you know. Back then we used to go about every 6 months, you know, for a checkup. And of course, when you're pregnant, you have to go every month. And he had delivered Jeremy, and, you know, back then I know I did, I didn't worship my gynecologist, but I just thought of him as a, you know, kind of like a superior being, you know, better educated and well off, and just a high standing in the community. So we just, you know, I had a lot of respect for Dr. Schlotman. So Virginia, she eventually started confiding in me about her personal life, and like I said, she had been divorced, and I don't remember if she had any children or not, but she would tell me about her boyfriends and her dates. So she tells me that you know, Dr. Slotman, he was like everybody's gynecologist since there were only a few in Covington. So she was telling me about how she was having an affair with Dr. Slotman. And I said, oh, no, you're lying. I just don't believe you. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. It just knocked me out. I mean, he seemed to be happily married. He had a couple of children of his own. And she said, yeah, that, you know, she was, had gone there for her exam and everything. And she said that he told her, you need to have more sex. And she said, well, you know, that's not possible. I'm divorced. And she said that he told her, oh, well, I can take care of that. So then she started having an affair with my gynecologist. Oh, you know, when she told me that little secret, I was disgusted by it and embarrassed and ashamed. And I still didn't believe her, but I mean, I do, now that I think back and know human nature and how things go nowadays in the world, I do believe that she was telling the truth. So then one day we were both working, and so this woman came in, and she was my beauty control supplier. You know, back then we would have these home parties with beauty control and Tupperware and all these different parties, and you had, you know, the person who sold it, the distributor, and so this woman, I don't remember her name, so she came in and she was saying, oh, hi Belinda, how are you? I would see her probably about every 3 or 4 months, and, you know, buy my, I would use the beauty control skin cleanser products and the foundation and a little blush. So I would have to go to her to buy it, and we got to be pretty good friends. So my beauty control lady, she came in and said hi to me and everything, and I saw Virginia kind of eyeing her and looking at her suspicious and all that. So as soon as she left, Virginia tells me that she's having an affair with the beauty control lady's husband. I mean, she was just the town harlot. And I remember one day I was on my way to Gibson's department store. It was a discount store back then. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember Gibson's. And so in front of Gibson's was a payphone, a little payphone booth, and there was the beauty control husbands standing there talking on a payphone. And it kind of dawned on me that day that I bet he's talking to Virginia. It's probably setting up a rendezvous with her, with the town harlot. While I'm sitting there watching the kids, I can read my comments while they're watching their cartoons. So I hope you enjoyed my little story. Please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please just hit the red subscribe button and turn on that little notification bell, so you'll be notified whenever I decide to do a live stream. And y'all have a wonderful day. Remember that I love you, and y'all just keep on coming back. Bye, guys.